Dr. Ilara Voss adjusted the environmental controls on her exosuit as she prepared to enter the observation chamber. The Earth's atmosphere was tolerable for her proximate physiology, but prolonged exposure caused a mild allergic reaction that would compromise her work. She checked her reflection in the polished surface of the decontamination chamber. Her luminescent blue eyes, the only visible alien feature, now concealed behind specialized contacts that mimic human brown irises. Final preparations for subject interaction complete. Dr. Voss announced the facility's eye subject Adam Fletcher's vitals remain stable. Thank you. AR begin recording protocol 7. Alpha. Ilara replied, her translator module perfectly converting her native resonant tones into human English. The door slid open, revealing a spacious white room designed to look like a standard medical examination area. This was Nexus facility, Earth's most advanced research installation, though few humans knew its true purpose or that it was jointly operated by an interplanetary scientific consortium. Adam Fletcher sat on the examination table, athletic build evident even through the standard issue gray testing uniform. His dark hair fell slightly over one eye as he looked up and offered a hesitant smile. Era noted his relaxed posture, no indication he suspected she wasn't human or that this was anything beyond the advanced pharmaceutical trial he volunteered for. Good morning, Mr. Fletcher. I'm Dr. Voss, lead researcher for the Prometheus trial. She extended her hand, a steady human gesture she perfected. Adam, please, he said, his handshake firm but not aggressive. I've been through enough medical tests this week to be on a first-name basis with everyone. Ilara felt the familiar flutter of scientific excitement she always experienced at direct contact with humans, such an evolutionary marvel, seemingly primitive, yet possessing neural complexity that rivaled even the most advanced species in the proximate alliance. Very well, Adam. How are you feeling today? Fine, I guess. A little tired, maybe slightly warm. He rubbed the injection site on his arm. The nurse mentioned you'd be explaining more about what exactly I've been given. Era reviewed his chart on her tablet. Yes. You've received the initial dose of an experimental compound designed to enhance cellular regeneration. This wasn't entirely false, though. The compound's true nature was far more complex than human medicine could comprehend. Sounds fancy. Will I be able to regrow a limb like a starfish? Adam joked, but Ilara detected a nervous undertone. Nothing so dramatic. We're hoping for accelerated healing of minor injuries, potentially benefiting trauma patients. She began the standard examination, checking his pupils' reflexes, blood pressure, any unusual sensations since the injection, dream sensory changes. Adam hesitated. Actually, yeah, my dreams have been intense, vivid colors, strange landscapes, and yesterday I swear I could hear conversations from the hallway through the wall. Era maintained her professional demeanor, but internally her excitement surged. This was earlier than anticipated. The genome integration was proceeding remarkably well, beyond all projections. Interesting. That could be related to the compound's effect on your neurological pathways. She made notes, careful not to reveal too much. Will run additional tests as she drew blood samples. Adam studied her face. You're not from around here, are you? Dr. Voss, your accent is unusual. I was raised in several countries. My accent is somewhat of a hybrid, she replied smoothly, the practiced response flowing naturally. Well, it's nice, musical, almost. Hyler felt an unexpected warmth at his comment. This wasn't in the protocol. Human subjects were to be observed, studied, documented, not engaged with personally yet. Something about Adam's direct gaze made maintaining clinical detachment challenging. Thank you, she said simply. Then redirected, I'll need to take tissue samples next. This may cause minor discomfort. As the needle penetrated his skin, Adam didn't flinch. Instead he watched with curious intensity as his blood filled the vial, blood that was already changing in ways invisible to human instruments but crystal clear to Ehlers' trained eye. What had begun as a standard sentimpatibility test was becoming something far more significant and potentially dangerous. When she left the examination room an hour later, Elora transmitted her encrypted findings to the Proximon Science Council. Subject demonstrates unprecedented adaptation rate. Phase 1 genetic integration complete. Proceeding to Phase 2. She didn't report the ethical concerns beginning to form in her mind, or how for the first time in her distinguished research career she found herself thinking of her test subject as a person rather than a specimen. Adam Fletcher was supposed to be just a test, but something was evolving, and not just his cells. 2 weeks into the experiment, Elara found herself lingering in the monitoring room long after her shift ended. Adam's vital signs danced across the screen: heart rate, neural activity, cellular mitosis, all showing remarkable adaptation to the proximate compound. "You're still here, Dr. Voss." Dr. Terran, the facility's human director, appeared in the doorway. "The subject is stable. You should rest just reviewing today's data." Ella replied, switching screens to hide the advanced metrics only she could interpret. Subject Fletcher's resilience continues to exceed expectations. Indeed, the oversight committee is quite pleased. Turan smile didn't reach his eyes there, considering accelerating the timeline. After he left, Elara returned to her private quarters and activated the secure channel to her ship's iNova. Analyze Fletcher's latest cellular samples. Focus on neurosynthetic bonding. Analysis complete. Neova replied moments later. Proximon DNA integration at 47%. Cognitive enhancement markers increasing exponentially. Warning: subject shows signs of developing telepathic sensitivity. AR's hand froze over the console. Telepathy wasn't supposed to emerge until Phase 4, if at all. Adam was advancing too quickly. The next morning, she entered Adam's chamber to find him standing at the window staring at the distant mountains. "I had a dream about you last night," he said without turning. "You were standing on a cliff under 2 moons looking at a purple ocean. Your skin was glowing." AAR's pulse quickened. Dreams can be vivid when you're under medication. It wasn't just a dream now. He turned his eyes, meeting hers with unsettling directness. "Your name isn't really Elara, is it? It's something I can't pronounce, something musical with harmonics." "Adam, you don't have to explain." He stepped closer and Elara resisted the urge to back away. "I'm changing, I feel it. My senses, my thoughts, everything's sharper, faster, and I keep feeling emotions that aren't mine." AAR realized she'd been neglecting her emotional dampening protocols, allowing her scientific curiosity and growing personal interest to leak through. "I should adjust your medication," she said, reaching for her tablet. Adam gently caught her wrist. The touch sent a current through her skin. "Please don't. For the first time in my life I feel awake." His thumb traced a circle on her pulse point. "And I think you feel it too." She should have pulled away, should have reminded him of the clinical boundaries, should have remembered her mission. Instead, Elara found herself saying, "Tell me what it feels like." They talked for hours. Adam described his heightened senses, his strange new awareness, the way colors seemed to have sounds now. Era explained more about the treatment than protocol allowed, carefully omitting its alien origin. Their conversation flowed with an ease that alarmed and delighted her. When Adam described his childhood in the Arizona desert, she almost told him about her youth on Proximus Crystal plains. "You understand," he said, wonder in his voice no one's ever understood before. As she left his chamber that evening, Elara realized two unsettling truths. First, Adam's transformation was accelerating beyond any projected models. And second, somewhere between scientific observation and personal connection, she begun to care for her test subject in ways that violated every professional and ethical boundary of cynobiological research. That night the secure channel from Proxima delivered her new orders. Integration proceeding successfully. Begin final phase subject termination. Scheduled upon completion of data collection. Era stared at the message. Her heart's beating arrhythmically. Adam wasn't just a test anymore, and she could no longer pretend that what was evolving was only in his cells. Your temperature is elevated again, Ella noted, scanning Adam with equipment far more sophisticated than anything Earth's medical community possessed. Any discomfort? I feel like I'm burning from inside, but it doesn't hurt. Adam flexed his fingers, watching the veins pulse beneath his skin. It feels like power. 3 days had passed since Alara received the termination order. 3 days of pretending to follow protocol while secretly modifying Adam's treatments, attempting to stabilize his transformation rather than accelerate it. Let me try something, she said, reaching for a neural stabilizer disguised as a standard medical device. As she pressed it to his temple, their fingers brushed the contact, triggered a flash of shared consciousness. Era glimpsed Adam's thoughts, a kaleidoscope of new perceptions and emotions at their center. Vivid and unmistakable was her image, hallowed in fascination and desire. Adam gasped and caught her hand. I saw you, the real you. His eyes widened. You have two hearts. Era pulled back, alarmed. The neural connection shouldn't have been bidirectional. Adam's abilities were evolving beyond anything in her research parameters. What am I becoming? He asked quietly. The truth, Era, please. She hesitated, then made a decision that would end her scientific career, possibly her life, if discovered. The compound in your system contains genetic material not from Earth, she admitted. It was designed to test human compatibility with certain extraterrestrial physiologies. To her surprise, Adam laughed. I knew it ever since that dream. He stopped suddenly, doubling over in pain. Adam, Alara rushed forward as he collapsed to his knees. Something's happening, he gasped. His skin seemed to glow from within, a faint luminescence similar to Proximon bioluminescence during cellular transformation. Alara helped him to the bed, her mind racing through possibilities. The integration was accelerating exponentially, approaching critical transformation phase, years ahead of projection. I need to stabilize you. She prepared an injection of neural inhibitors, but Adam caught her wrist. Wait. His breathing steadied as the pain subsided. It's passing. He looked up at her, and Alara was startled to see flecks of luminescent blue appearing in his brown irises. Your eyes really look like this, don't they? Alara removed her contact lenses, revealing her natural electric blue eyes. Yes, she whispered. Adam reached up, his fingers tracing the contour of her face with gentle curiosity. Show me more, show me who you really are. The request crossed every boundary of protocol, but Alara found herself unable to deny him. She adjusted her environmental controls, allowing her natural bioluminescence to surface, a subtle glow that traced the lines of her face, the subtle patterns that humans would mistake for freckles but were actually respiratory markers. Beautiful, Adam murmured the moment hung between them, charged with possibility. Then Adam pulled her toward him, his lips finding hers in a kiss that sent shock waves through AAR's system. The contact created another neural flash, emotions and sensations flowing between them in a feedback loop of discovery and desire. When they finally parted, Adam's eyes had changed further, the blue urs now predominant. They're going to kill me when they're done, aren't they? He asked calmly. Era couldn't lie to him anymore. Yes, because I'm dangerous. Because you're unprecedented. She touched his face. The integration was supposed to Take years remain minimal controllable. What's happening to you? It's beyond anything in our research. Adam took her hand, interlacing their fingers. Then we need to leave. The security alarms chose that moment to blare throughout the facility. On the monitoring screens, Era saw Dr. Terran and a security team heading toward the chamber. They're coming, she said. They must have detected your accelerated transformation. Adam stood, swaying slightly but steadier than moments before. The pain had reshaped him somehow. His movements more fluid, his presence more commanding. Do you trust me? He asked. Era faced the most important decision of her life, her people, her mission, her science on one side, this human becoming something else on the other. Yes, she answered, surprising herself with the conviction in her voice. As the security team's footsteps approached, Adam pulled Alara close, his transformed eyes meeting hers with startling clarity. Then let's evolve together. The security door exploded inward with such force that the reinforced metal crumpled like paper. Alara stared in shock at Adam's outstretched hand. That's new, he said, looking equally surprised. Alarms wailed as they raced through the corridor. Era led them toward the research wing, away from the main exits where security would be heaviest. My ship is in Hangar B, disguised as experimental aircraft, she explained, breathless. If we can reach it. A security team rounded the corner. Ahead, the lead officer raised his weapon. Stop immediately. Subject containment protocol activated. Adam stepped in front of Alara, moving with inhuman speed. He raised his hand instinctively and the officers froze mid-motion, their expressions locked in confusion. What did you do to them? Alara whispered. I don't know. Adam stared at his hands. I just wanted them to stop. They hurried past the immobilized guards. Adam's breathing grew labored, sweat beading on his forehead. The blue in his eyes pulsed with each heartbeat. The transformation is accelerating, Era said as they ducked into an empty lab. Your body is burning through resources too quickly. What happens when it completes? Adam leaned against a wall, his skin now noticeably luminescent. No one knows. The integration was theoretical, a fraction of what's happening to you. She accessed the lab terminal, overriding security protocols with her proximate codes. According to these readings, your DNA is rewriting itself completely into what something new, neither human nor Proxima. On the terminal screen flickered, replaced by Dr. Terran's face. Dr. Voss, he said, his voice cold. What you're doing violates every agreement between Earth and the Alliance. Return the specimen immediately. He's not a specimen, Alara replied, anger rising. He's evolving beyond anything we predicted. Terminating him would be destroying something unique in the universe. That's precisely why the protocol exists. His existence threatens the balance between our worlds. Terran's expression hardened. Your emotional involvement has compromised you. Security teams are converging on your location. There's nowhere to go. The screen went dark. Adam touched AR's shoulder, the contact sending another wave of shared consciousness between them. This time she felt his fear and his determination. There's something I need to know, he said. Is what's happening to me just your experiment, or is there more? Alara hesitated, then decided complete honesty was the only option now. The compound was designed to test compatibility, but normal integration should have been minimal, regulated. Your response is unprecedented. She met his gaze directly. My theory is that something in your natural genetic makeup was already primed for this evolution. The compound merely catalyzed what was latent, so I was already becoming something else. Potentially humans are remarkably adaptable, but your genetic structure shows signs of previous modifications generations ago, perhaps. Adam absorbed this, running a hand through his hair. So I'm not the first contact between our species, it appears. Not a new alarm sounded the high-pitched whine of the facility's ultimate containment protocol. They had minutes before the entire section would be flooded with neural suppressants. We need to move, Ilara said, grabbing emergency brothers from the lab cabinet. Hangar B is 2 levels down. They encountered 2 more security teams on their path to the hangar each time. Adam's new abilities manifested once, freezing the pursuers, once creating a telekinetic barrier that deflected stun charges. Each use left him weaker, the transformation consuming his energy reserves. When they finally reached the hangar, AAR's sleek ship stood waiting, disguised with technology that made it appear as a conventional Earth aircraft. To human eyes, no VA emergency departure protocol, she commanded as they approached. The ship remained dark, unresponsive. They've locked down all systems, Aurora realized. Even my override codes won't work now. Adam swayed beside her, his transformation accelerating visibly. The blue in his eyes now glowed like sapphires, and faint luminescent patterns had begun appearing on his skin. I can feel the ship, he said. Suddenly it's alive somehow. Proximon technology is semi-organic. It responds to our biosignatures. Let me try. Adam approached the ship, placing his palm against its hull, his eyes closed in concentration. The patterns on his skin brightening in response. For a moment nothing happened, then the ship hummed to life, its entry port dilating open. How did you, Ilara began. I spoke to it. Adam sounded as surprised as she was, not with words exactly, but the hangar doors began closing and security forces poured in from multiple entrances. We need to go now. Era pulled Adam into the ship as stun charges exploded around them. Inside, the ship's controls responded instantly to her touch as they lifted off, bursting through the closing hangar doors. Adam collapsed into the co-pilot seat, his transformation reaching the critical point. Stay with me, Ilara urged, setting course for the upper atmosphere. We're almost free. Adam reached for her hand across the console, his fingers now visibly traced with the same bioluminescent patterns as her own. Where are we going? He asked, his voice changing, harmonics emerging that no human vocal cords should produce. Somewhere they won't find us, Ilara promised. Somewhere we can understand what you're becoming. As Earth fell away beneath them, Adam gazed at the stars with his new eyes. I think, he said softly, I'm becoming us. The abandoned mining outpost on Europa's dark side offered perfect isolation, while Jupiter's massive presence shielded them from most scanners. AAR knew it was only a temporary haven. Both Earth and Proxima would be searching, classifying them as dangers to be contained inside the outpost's laboratory. Adam floated in a suspension chamber, his transformation accelerating beyond anything's instruments could measure. The luminescent patterns on his skin had spread across his entire body, pulsing in rhythms that matched the dual beating of her heart. His molecular structure is stabilizing, Neova reported. Integration is approaching completion. But what is he becoming? Ilara whispered, pressing her hand against the chamber glass. For 3 Earth days she'd monitored his transformation, catching moments of rest only when exhaustion overwhelmed her. Throughout she'd maintained the neural link they'd established during their escape, a tenuous connection that let her sense he was still there. Still Adam beneath the metamorphosis. Now that connection suddenly intensified. Adam's eyes snapped open, entirely blue now with flecks of silver like stars. Let me out. His voice resonated directly in her mind, no longer requiring sound waves. Ilara hesitated. The transformation isn't complete. It won't complete in there. I need. His thoughts brushed against hers. I need you. Something in his mental voice convinced her. She initiated the release sequence, and the suspension fluid drained as the chamber opened. Adam stepped out, steam rising from his transformed body. He was Still recognizably human in form too. Arms, 2 legs, the same face she'd grown to care for, but his skin now contained constellations of bioluminescence that shifted with his emotions when he moved. It was with a fluid grace that seemed to bend space slightly around him. How do you feel? Ilara asked. Adam looked at his hands, flexing fingers that left trailing echoes in the air, complete. Connected, his gaze found hers. I can feel everything, Ilara. The outpost systems, the ice shifting kilome below us, the radiation from Jupiter washing over us. He reached for her. And you, I feel everything about you when their hands touched. The neural connection exploded into something far deeper, Ilara gasped, as Adam's consciousness entwined with hers, not invasively but as if they were puzzle pieces designed to fit together across species. This is what the experiment was actually for, wasn't it? Adam's thoughts flowed directly into her mind, not just compatibility testing but something more. AAR couldn't hide the truth in this state of shared consciousness. There were legends, ancient texts about a potential convergence between our species. Most considered them metaphorical. The council authorized the experiments to disprove the myths, but instead they found me. Adam pulled her closer, their foreheads touching in their shared mental space. Ilara saw what he was becoming, a bridge between worlds, a being who existed in multiple states simultaneously. They will never stop hunting us, she whispered. Both our worlds fear what they don't understand, then we'll need to help them understand. His hand caressed her face, leaving trails of light where he touched. I can see possibilities, futures branching in all directions. In some I become a weapon, in others a savior, and in this one, Ilara asked, her heart's racing as Adam's lips hovered near hers. In this one we evolved together. Their kiss transcended physical sensation. Around them the outpost systems responded to their combined bioelectric field, lights pulsing in harmony with their emotions as their bodies pressed together. The boundaries between alien and human blurred further. Adam's newfound abilities manifested in waves of energy that enveloped them both, creating a private universe where two species could become one. Hours later, they stood at the viewport watching Jupiter's storm swirl in the distance. AAR's hand was entwined with Adam's, their skin sharing the same luminescent patterns, now hers having adapted to match his hybrid biology. The council ships will reach us by tomorrow, Ilara said, having received the warning from her ship's long-range sensors. Earth's vessels will arrive 6 hours later. Adam added, his new perceptions extending far beyond normal space. They're bringing weapons designed to neutralize both of us. Are you afraid? Adam smiled, the expression transforming his face into something hauntingly beautiful. Human emotion channeled through something greater. No, because now I understand why I was evolving. He led her to the communications array, his movements leaving echoes in reality itself. They fear what we represent, the end of separation, the beginning of something they can't control. His fingers danced across the controls, accessing frequencies no Earth or proximate technology was designed to reach. What are you doing? Ilara asked, calling the others. Adam looked at her, his eyes reflecting all possible futures. We aren't the first throughout history. There have been others like us, hybrids who went into hiding, who've been waiting for the signal that it's time for what? Time for the next evolution, not just for me, not just for us, but for both our species. He pulled her into his arms. It was never just a test, it was always a beginning. As the signal pulsed outward from Europa, responses immediately began returning, dozens, then hundreds of acknowledgements from hidden outposts throughout the solar system and beyond. Hidden hybrids, secret integrations, all waiting for this moment. AAR watched in wonder as Adam's transformation reached its true completion, not a horror of alien mutation but a beautiful synthesis Of two worlds, her scientific mind understood that what stood before her violated every natural law both her people and humans believed immutable. Her heart recognized it as love transcending biology. "They're coming for us," she said, sensing the approaching ships. Adam's smile contained universes. "Let them come. Well, show them what evolution really means." In the vast darkness between Jupiter and its frozen moon, two beings who had begun as specimen and scientists stood ready to rewrite the destiny of two worlds. The experiment was over. The evolution had just begun.